Just before we jump in, a quick note for everyone listening. We're drawing on quite a rich mix of sources today, including some insights from contemporary Iranian philosophers. We always aim for clarity, but translating deep philosophical thought, well, it can have its subtleties. So we do apologize if any nuances aren't fully captured.
Welcome to Wisdom Unveiled. It's great to have you with us for another deep dive. And today, well, we're exploring a truly monumental mind. This is the 16th part of our 18-part journey, and we're stepping into the world of Ibn Sina. Calling him just a philosopher or a physician, it almost feels inadequate, doesn't it? He was a genuine polymath, a literary figure too, and his ideas about, well, existence itself, they still resonate so strongly today.
They really do. A towering figure.
So our mission today, really, is to explore how Ibn Sina saw this fundamental connection, this continuity woven through everything. We'll look at the body, movement, time, even our inner thoughts. And crucially, we want to uncover the power he saw in deep contemplation to Amal for understanding this unity and, well, unlocking our own potential. You might find his ideas about an interconnected universe feel surprisingly relevant now.
It's definitely a privilege to delve into Ibn Sina's genius.
Yeah.
And you're right, what often gets missed is how his science and philosophy were tangled up with his literary skill. His writing isn't just dry theory, it's got this poetic depth, this unique lens on an interconnected reality. And through that lens, he really guides us on that essential journey of, self-discovery.
Absolutely. So let's start with just the sheer scope of his intellect. A polymath, right? Philosophy, logic, medicine, theology. And he mastered them all. But what's really striking, maybe less known, is his role as a literary figure, especially when you think about the time the 4th and 5th centuries AH. So that's roughly the 10th and 11th century CE for us. Back then, Arabic was, well, it was the language for science and academia in that whole region, including Iran.
That's such a key point for context.
Yeah.
You had these brilliant Iranian scholars like Al-Farabi, Al-Ghazali, and they mostly wrote their big, important works in Arabic. It was the academic standard, But Ibn Sina, he made a very specific, very powerful choice. He wrote several major philosophical works in Persian, like the Daneshnameh-ye Alai's encyclopedia. It's a huge deal. Writing these in Persian wasn't just showing off his language skills. It was vital. It proved his mastery of his own language, sure, but it also helped preserve Persian as a language capable of deep philosophical thinking, not just, say, poetry. He showed it could handle complex ideas.
And that points to a deeper level of mastery, doesn't it? Being fluent in both at that level.
Oh, completely. He was known as Du al-Lisain, master of 2 languages, equally brilliant in Arabic and Persian, much like Al-Ghazali, actually. There's this great story about the Arab scholar Abd al-Rahman Badawi. He basically said Ibn Sina's Arabic prose, in works like Al-Shifa or Al-Isharat, and even smaller things like On Divine Decree and Destiny, or Sayan al-Ashaka.
Which means something like the emanation of lovers. Sounds quite mystical.
It does, yeah, hinting at those deeper layers. Anyway, Badawi, an Arab scholar himself, said Ibn Sina's Arabic was just unmatched, peerless. And when you read it, you feel that the philosophical elegance is right there with the linguistic beauty.
Wow, that's high praise. And it maybe tells us something about the Persian language itself, too, in this context. Its own strength, like the word dadgastari for justice, its root, dad. How does that compare to the Arabic ad?
That's a fantastic example. Adl in Arabic definitely carries the sense of equilibrium, balance, fairness. But the Persian dad, it has this deeper layer, this resonance of something given, a divinely ordered balance, almost like a cosmic rightness or harmony inherent in things.
So a slightly different flavor.
Exactly. It's subtle, but for Ibn Sina, maybe Persian allowed him to express these ideas of inherent, divinely set order in a way that felt more immediate, more intuitive than perhaps the focus on equilibrium and Adl alone could capture. It shows how language wasn't just a tool for him, it was part of the philosophical process itself.
Okay, so building on that, this profound way of seeing things, he applied a similar lens to physical reality itself, right? You mentioned the Daneshnameh-ye Alai. There's that line. The body, etigism, is connected in its essence, for if it were disconnected, it would not be capable of dimensions. That sounds like a direct challenge to older ideas about atoms.
It absolutely is a major challenge. He's pushing back against the idea, found in some Greek and earlier Islamic thought, that matter is just made of tiny, separate, indivisible bits, atoms. He argues instead for its continuous nature, its inherent connectedness. I mean, think about his logic. If an atom is truly indivisible, no parts, no dimensions, how can you put a bunch of things with no volume together and suddenly get volume?
Right. How does extension come from non-extension?
Precisely. Or existence from non-existence, as he might put it. It's a powerful logical point. Connection isn't just something bodies do, it's fundamental to what they are.
So it's baked into the definition.
Baked right in. It's essential. Even if you imagine dividing a body forever, each part, if it's still a body, has to keep that connection, that volume. It's an unbroken continuum. This was pretty revolutionary, suggesting reality at its most basic physical level is relational, connected, not just a pile of separate units.
And he didn't just stop with physical bodies, did he? He took this idea of continuity into movement, harakat, and time, zaman. How did that work?
He did, and this is where his system gets really elegant. He says movement isn't just a series of static snapshots, like flipping through pictures. No, it's a continuous flow, a transition. There are no tiny moments of not moving tucked in between.
Like you can't freeze a moment of movement.
Exactly. The moment implies the flow. And time, similarly, isn't beads on a string, separate instants. It's a continuous stream. We can think about dividing it up conceptually, but physically, it just flows. Each now pours into the next.
Okay, so if the body is continuous and time is continuous,
Yeah.
how does movement fit between them?
That's the genius link. He suggests movement is the barzakh, the intermediate zone, the connecting realm between body and time. Since the body is continuous and time is continuous, then movement, this bridge between them, must also be continuous. It's this logically tight, interconnected view, no gaps allowed.
Wow. And taking that idea outwards. This really broadens the picture, doesn't it? It implies a cosmos that's fundamentally continuous, interconnected, with no real empty space, no kala or void. It kind of makes me think of that butterfly effect idea. You know, a tiny flap of wings here could eventually influence a storm way over there. It paints a picture of deep entanglement.
That's a perfect analogy. It really captures the essence of Ibn Sina's vision. This deep sense of universal connection. It isn't just some historical oddity. It feels like a precursor to modern systems thinking, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This idea that you can't truly isolate things because everything is fundamentally interwoven. And for Ibn Sina, these insights about continuity, especially inherent motion, they laid really important groundwork. Later philosophers like Mullah Sadra, with his concept of harakat jawari, or substantial motion.
Where the essence of a thing is always changing.
Exactly. Continuous intertransformation. That idea really builds on Ibn Sina's foundations about the inherent connection and flow of existence. It shows how influential his thinking was for centuries.
So moving from the vast cosmos to our inner world. It's amazing how he used poetry for these deep ideas, too. Not just logical arguments. There's that famous quatrain, often attributed to him. Let me see if I remember it. Though my heart wandered much in this desert, it didn't understand a single hair, but it split a hair. 1,000 suns shone in my heart, yet in the end I found no way to the perfection of a particle. What's going on there?
Oh, that verse is incredibly rich. So much packed in. 1,000 suns, that's like this vast accumulation of knowledge, right? Intense intellectual light, profound insights filling the heart. But then, despite all that brilliance, he can't grasp the perfection of a particle. It means that even with immense understanding, the ultimate complete truth of just one tiny thing, one particle, is still beyond reach.
So it's about humility in the face of reality's depth.
Precisely. And for Ibn Sina, a particle isn't just small. It's like a miniature version of the whole cosmos, a microcosm.
Yeah.
To fully understand that particle in its perfection would mean understanding everything. So true understanding isn't a final destination you arrive at. It's this ongoing journey. Always more depth, always more questions. It keeps you searching.
So what does this mean for us, practically speaking? This idea of endless discovery, the depth of things, it seems to point straight towards the need for inner contemplation, or for ta'ammul. It suggests that if we don't do that deep reflection, if we just skim the surface, well, that leads to ignorance, maybe even real harm. You mentioned historical figures,
Right.
like Hitler, Genghis Khan, maybe even figures like Shimir or Ibn Muljam from early Islamic history. Their actions seem to stem from a lack of that deep inner looking.
That's a powerful connection to make. Contrast that superficiality you see with someone who genuinely engages in ta'ammul. True marifat, that deep spiritual knowledge or gnosis, it grows a heart that sees the unity, the connection in everything. When you really feel that unbroken thread, well, acting with cruelty, with injustice, it becomes almost like hurting yourself, like tearing the fabric you're part of. That deep inner sight changes everything, preventing those destructive acts that come from a fragmented view. It builds empathy.
Wow. And we should probably touch on his fame as a physician, too. For many people, that's the Ibn Sina they know. He even wrote medical works in verse, like the Arjuza fi al-Tib, the poem on medicine. He defined medicine as preservation of health and rescuing the body from illness. How did his philosophy feed into his medicine?
Well, his medical knowledge, especially in the canon of medicine, was obviously immense. It was used for centuries, even in Europe. But his real success, his edge, likely came from something deeper, his pharisat.
Pharisat. What's that exactly?
It's like keen insight, discernment, intuition. A doctor can know all the books, all the symptoms, but without pharisat, that ability to really see the patient, to understand what's going on beneath the surface, they can't truly heal effectively. For Ibn Sina, being a great physician meant also being a philosopher. It meant understanding the human body's intricate design, not just technically but philosophically, seeing it as a creation, a microcosm reflecting the larger cosmic order.
So seeing the body itself as interconnected and reflecting deeper principles?
Exactly. It connects right back to self-knowledge, to seeing that continuity within the human form itself.
Okay, I see. And this seems to loop back to ideas we've touched on before, maybe in our last deep dive. The idea of the Jihadi Akbar, the greater struggle. How does that connect here?
It connects perfectly. The Jihadi Akbar is that constant inner work, right? Battling our lower desires, our illusions, those ingrained bad habits adat. These aren't just small things. Ibn Sina would see them as internal prisons. They stop us from reaching true understanding, true freedom. They cloud our pharisat, distract us from ta'ammul. It's the ongoing struggle to peel back the layers that hide the true connected nature of reality from us.
And Agahi awareness, that's the key weapon in this struggle, isn't it?
Absolutely critical. And Agahi isn't just knowing facts passively. It's a profound consciousness, an active openness to truth, genuine curiosity, constant self-checking. It's about being truly awake.
So how does cultivating that awareness lead to inner freedom? And what did he mean by the continuous stream of inner thought, the Gafdem versus the Gaft?
Well, this awareness leads to freedom because it helps us detach from just reacting blindly to our impulses, our lower self. We can observe our thoughts, our emotions, without being swept away by them. And that awareness strengthens our connection to what Ibn Sina called Gafdam, this continuous, limitless stream of inner thought, inner discourse. He saw this as closer to our real essence than Gaft, which is spoken words finite, fragmented. Gafdam is like the soul's unending internal conversation with reality, with truth. It's this flow of intuition, insight. Agahi helps us tune into that stream, makes it clearer, more audible within us.
That's a really profound image. What an incredible journey we've been on today, really getting into Ibn Sina's mind, his mastery of language, his view of a continuous existence, the challenge of knowing anything completely, and this vital role of inner work, of awareness. It all paints a picture of deep interconnection.
It really does. And for Ibn Sina, you see, rigorous philosophy, careful science, deep mystical insight, they weren't separate roads. They all meet in the ideal of the insanely calmable, the perfect human being. That's someone whose awareness truly spans everything, who embodies that unbroken connection. It's a holistic way of understanding that is genuinely transformative when you grasp it.
So if Ibn Sina points us towards this unbroken thread connecting everything, and the way to truly grasp that unity is by cultivating deep awareness, it leaves us with a question, doesn't it? For you listening now, amidst all the noise and demands of modern life, how do you practice that? How do you nurture that crucial agahi? How do you tune into that inner stream of Gafdan and navigate your own Jihadi Akbar day by day? Something to reflect on. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive on Wisdom Unveiled. We really hope you'll keep thinking, keep asking questions, keep seeking that wisdom within, and we invite you to continue the journey with us next time.